All right, let's talk data. Anybody else have a love-hate relationship with data? Show of hands, show of hands. That would be me. So I know I absolutely need the data. We need the data to determine the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of our program and the interventions that we put in place. Same reason you need the data. What I don't like about it is sometimes it feels really cumbersome and it gets in the way of me just having interactions with our clients. Sometimes I just want to play and I don't want the data to interrupt me. If I even look down for a second at a clipboard, I could miss something really critical. So where's that happy medium? How do I get the data that I know I need and still feel like I'm not being interrupted? Well, I'm going to share with you 3 data collection methods that we most frequently utilize in our social skills program. So in the example I'm going to give you, it's specific to plain social skills instruction, but you could use these data collection methods for a variety of skills. So stick with me and don't forget to subscribe. Social skills are complex, but there's a lot of parallels with just a traditional behavior change program. So just as with a traditional behavior change program, as with social skills programming, we still need to start off with an assessment. Where are the areas of strength? Where are the areas of need? We're identifying specific, measurable, observable targets. We're putting our interventions in place, utilizing evidence-based practices, but then we need to monitor progress. Is the intervention we put in place effective? Is it effective in increasing a target behavior if it's a skill acquisition program? Is it effective in decreasing a target behavior if it's a behavior reduction program? Without that data, it's just a guessing game. You're potentially just throwing past against the wall until it sticks. That's a major problem. So again, we absolutely need to be collecting data, not only collecting data, but analyzing that data in order to make data-driven decisions in a behavior analytic program.
All right, let's take a look at some real examples. So when I say real examples, I mean that these were pulled from our participants' individual goal sheets. So all of the participants that we serve at Mission Cognition Social Skills Development Centers, whether it be virtually or whether it be on site, have 3 to 5 individual goals and objectives. So behaviors or skills that we are working to increase or decrease. So goal number 1 states, when motivated to gain peer attention, learner will call peer by name or use another attention-getting phrase such as, look, check this out, come play, as a pro-social replacement behavior for touching or grabbing. I'm not going to spend too much time on how we write our goals in this episode, but if you are interested, we do have quite a few resources available to assist you in that area, one of which is a downloadable packet. I'll drop that link in the comments of this video. So taking a look here, there's actually 2 behaviors that I want to be tracking. So I'm collecting data on 2 targets. One is that skill acquisition target, so gaining peer attention using some of those strategies, calling name, or another attention getting phrase like come play with me, look at this, check this out. So that is my skill acquisition target. The second one is the behavior reduction target. So I'm wanting to reduce this and replace it with this. So the behavior reduction target is what you see there as touching or grabbing. So it means that touching and grabbing was occurring at a pretty high frequency, or that's what this individual learner, that's a strategy that they were employing to gain peer attention. Other kids didn't like that. So we identified this as a socially significant target. So I'm collecting data on both and I'm graphing both on the same graph because I want to see that decrease and that increase. So we can't just get rid of touching or grabbing others. Being motivated to gain peer attention is a beautiful thing. I absolutely do not want to extinguish that or squash that. What I do want to do is give this individual, this learner, a more socially acceptable, appropriate, successful, and effective means of doing so. So we gave them quite a few options there. So what I can do is take a frequency count. So how many times did they grab, pull somebody or touch them? And how many times in a session did they use those taught phrases or call the peer's name? I can also look at each individual instance as a trial. So when they were motivated to gain another child's attention, plus if they utilize one of these taught phrases, minus if they grabbed or touched, I can then convert that into percentages. So if there were 20 opportunities, 10 times they grabbed, 10 times they said, hey, check this out. 50% of the time they grabbed, 50% of the time they used one of those taught phrases. So I will be able to see that on the graph. Week to week, if my intervention is effective, I would want to see grabbing 40%, calling names 60%, calling names 70%, touching 30%, saying, hey, check this out, or using other phrases 80%, touching or grabbing 20%, you get the idea. So we're graphing that together, behavior skill acquisition and a behavior reduction target. Let's take a look at goal number 2. Goal 2 reads as follows: when provided with free time and access to peers and a variety of toys or leisure activities, learner will increase social play engagement with peers. Okay, so provided free time. I'm looking for a structured observation for this goal. So we want to set aside a specified period of time. So let's say we're doing a 10-minute observation. If we're doing a 10-minute observation, then we want to consistently keep it 10 minutes from day to day or from week to week during whatever that free time looks like in your center or in your school, so that it doesn't skew the data. So you can't observe for 15 minutes on one day, 5 minutes on another day. Right, there's going to be too much variability there. So you pick 10 minutes, stick with 10 minutes. So I'm watching this learner for 10 minutes and I'm going to be collecting momentary time sampling data. So I have to decide how long I want my interval. So for this example, we'll say it's going to be a 2-minute interval. So every 2 minutes, I'm going to find that learner that I'm collecting data on, and I'm going to mark down on my sheet what level of play engagement. So that's something that you're going to have to do in-house. For us, we're utilizing what I refer to as USO packets, Dr. Parton's 6 stages of play. All of our staff are trained on that, what unoccupied, solitary, onlooker, parallel, associative, and cooperative play looks like. So they would be able to collect data on that play engagement. Again, if that is something that you are interested in, you're interested in learning more about how to assess or collect data on play levels or focus on teaching play skills, we have lots of resources for you in that area, and I will certainly plan to do future episodes focused on that. Play in general is a great topic, and there's so many awesome subtopics to go along with that, so we can spend a good amount of time on that. But for this one, we're looking at momentary time sampling, 2-minute intervals. I can see exactly what % of intervals was this learner engaged in parallel play versus associative play versus cooperative play, for example. So here the goal is increase social play engagement with peers. So if I was seeing a lot of solitary play during baseline, I'm really happy then to see more parallel play. That's going to be an increase in social play engagement. It's a higher level. You're at semi-social play now, and you're moving towards social play. So if we're consistently at parallel play, then I am really glad to see more associative play. That demonstrates an increase in social play engagement with peers. So momentary time sampling data for this one compared to % of opportunities for goal number 1. So let's take a look at goal number 3, which represents a third data collection method. Right, goal 3 reads as follows: during unstructured peer-to-peer conversation, learner will increase vocal contributions to conversation in the form of on-topic questions and comments or statements. So great, we've clearly defined what those vocal contributions to conversation are. You can't just leave it at that. We have to know what it is we're collecting data on, which is why your operational definitions are so important. So I know that I am going to be counting number of on-topic questions and number of on-topic comments or statements. Very similar to what I express in goal 2 with having a set period of time for your observation. That's going to apply here as well. So if you are observing conversation, you want to make sure that that happens sort of as part of your routine. Is there free time? Is there downtime where the kids typically talk to one another? So for us, that would be at the end of the session or in the beginning of the session when we designate that free time or that unstructured time where a leader or a facilitator or instructor is not telling you explicitly what to do. That's what I would define as unstructured peer-to-peer conversation. So let's say I'm observing now for 5 minutes. I'm observing the specific learner for 5 minutes, and I am tally counting. I'm marking down the frequency of how many questions are asked and how many comments or statements are made. So I can see in a 5-minute period, you now have a rate also. So in a 5-minute period, this individual at baseline asked 0 questions and made 1 comment. So in, by a couple weeks of intervention, I would like to see a good increase in those numbers. So maybe we're contributing five questions, and 10 comments or statements during that 5-minute observational period. With something like conversation, I would also want to take some, even if it's anecdotal data initially, on the topics of conversation, because it's highly likely that you're going to see more contributions when it's a topic that is of interest or preference to the learner, or something that they know more about. So that's going to be valuable as you're going to interpret and analyze your data. Okay, so there you go. We've reviewed 3 different goals aligned with 3 different data collection methods. Again, if you're interested in learning more about how we are writing goals, or in general, just learning more about behavior analytic play and social skills instruction, definitely check out the comments. I'll drop you a couple of links there, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos. We have another episode coming to you tomorrow on exercise. Yes, exercise and social skills. So check it out.